Hey, it's Joseph here. Today I've got line of product that I never showcased before, but I have been using for quite some time and I found them to be quite useful. So I wanted to showcase them to you. The first product is this laser measure. You may find some dings here and there because I have been bringing this to job sites and surveys, and I have used other products in the past too that are more supposedly accurate than this one, but for the size and convenience of what this is, it just kind of became something that I always carry on my travel bag. And this is a laser measure or laser tape. I don't know what's the official name for it, but it is a product from Hoto, and there is the logo. And they make these tools that are a bit more modern than something that is considered a bit traditional. So you'll see that on a couple of products that I'll be showcasing today, but this is a laser measure. It's small, as you can see. It is not that big and also is quite light. This orange ring serves no purpose other than easily holding onto it with your finger in it. And you can see there is actually a USB Type-C port, which is a charging port for this device. So you can easily charge this without a different type of battery inserted. And you've got a single button over here. And then this is where everything happens in terms of laser and the detection. And once you hold that down, it will turn on. It's not that clear because this thing wants to be, I guess, a smooth surface without an actual display exposed. That is somewhat fragile, but it does connect to your phone via Bluetooth as well. So as you measure things, you can actually have a record of these measurements going into your phone and supposedly able to spit out a relatively simple floor plan as well. As an architectural designer, I do use quite a bit of a survey tool for measuring and recording of a space. So tape measures and laser measures are essential tool. To be very honest, I no longer use this on site, but I do have it in my bag just in case, because I use this device, which is a tape measure as well as a laser measure. It is just kind of combined together. So I found this to be more useful than this one for my specific setup or the surveys that I go on. However, for a very simple floor layout and spaces that are not as big as the ones that I survey, I think this will definitely do a job. If you're a homeowner, I do think this will come in quite handy. I have used this device numerous times within my own home whenever I'm measuring from wall to wall rather than whipping out all of my survey equipment. So it is simple, and I think it is designed quite well. I really like the design aspect of this, and you'll see that sort of style and language throughout Hoto's products. And that is exactly the reason why I decided to do a bit of a showcase of their product today. I believe via app you can also control the unit of this thing as well as being from the back versus the tip measurement, but this is all I needed. I set it for good. And again, I really like the aspect of being able to charge it via USB Type-C, which is the charger that I use for my phone, my camera, my iPad, everything that I carry around site survey. I put a huge amount of effort to make all of my devices USB-C charging, minus that tape measure or laser measure that I carry around. I do have 2 AAA batteries in there, which is quite troublesome. Anyways, that aside, I think this is a incredibly well put together product and might be useful for you. The next one that I want to mention is this screwdriver. There are a few different color choices that you can have, and I really liked this kind of green, although it is not my color. My color is more like this knife color, but there was a green. I guess that was the closest that I can find off of their webpage. I would appreciate if they have my own blue or teal that I typically do, but it is really well put together. It is a very nice feeling aluminum, I believe, and it does have this spin at the back for the screwdrivers. It is not necessarily very ergonomic. However, it does please my eyes to just look at this. So the tip is magnetic. It does have a changeable bit both sides. I use this screwdriver to disassemble or fix a couple of electronics and devices that I get into, such as like a laptop. Whenever I do laptop disassembly, I tend to use this screwdriver. And on the back, the spinner pulls out and it has a bit storage. There are a ton of these bits in there, and this bit size is actually standard size for a lot of small bit screwdrivers. So I do have this cheap screwdriver set that has multiple bits, as well as the cheaply made screwdriver. So I do use that quite often as well. But you can use any of these bits that are, I guess, the standard size. I'm not sure what exact size that is, but you can certainly insert, and that is pretty much universal. Got to make sure I put in the right ones in the right slot. So again, the very well put together screwdriver kind of matches my shirt, and I really like it. It is very smooth. I can easily see this screwdriver being a fidget toy. So yeah, that was a Hoto's screwdriver. I paid my own dime for both of these devices. Not necessarily all that expensive, but I thought it was really well put together. So I reached out to Hoto to see if they would be willing to showcase a couple of more products with me. So Hoto has sent me these two devices for me to make a video like this, therefore how this video kind of came about. I'm not sponsored in any way, they just provided me these two devices to do a showcase, but I just wanted to let you know of that. And I think both of them are going to be quite interesting. They are both screwdrivers of similar kind, and I think this is closer to this one in a sense that it is meant for small devices and precision screwdriver. It's kind of noted here, but it is electric, so I guess it is an upgrade from this one onto here. And then this is more of a more powerful screwdriver, step down from a drill perhaps. So I will open that up secondly. Do check out their website, because I do think they make very compelling devices that are well designed. Perhaps not the most robust or durable tools that are in the market, but I think they're really good looking, and I think they have put a good amount of designs and thought behind their product. Looking at the box, you can see the picture of this precision or electric precision screwdriver set, and simply white box, and on the back you can see a couple of bit sizes that are included in here, and it is noting that it is charging via USB Type-C, which is basically the aspect that I really like about this one. The bits are made with S2 alloy steel, for those of you who care about those type of things, and again manufactured by Hoto. The color is dark gray. Okay, the first thing out of the box is the charging cable, I think. USB Type A to Type C. And in this box, there is another box with some paper to our social media with a QR code. This is instructions in Chinese and also English. So it explains about a couple of things, what kind of parts it has, how to use it. Okay, all usual stuff. And I guess here is the actual case for the screwdriver. Okay, very nice looking case. Again, I really appreciate their design approach. There are a couple of specs written over here. Something about being able to charge via USB as well. And their subtle logo up here. And I think it is all plastic in general, except the top that is feeling metallic. And it opens smooth. That's quite nice. It kind of snaps open. It feels almost magnetic. The bit touches here for 5 seconds to complete magnetizing, so you can play with the bits a bit to have it magnetizing. The bits have kind of moved around, so I'm going to put them back so I can easily spot the numbers of these things. T2, T3, PH2, PH1, Phillips head 1 and 2. Cool, so all the bits are in right order, and here is the actual screwdriver. You pull it out, the whole thing is knurled, so it sticks to your hand, and it does have a USB Type-C port at the end, along with the switch going forward, backwards, and the tip. It does have some juice in it. although it has been in the box for quite some time. That's nice to see. I wonder if it's gonna have any LED indicator once I start charging it. Yep, so it does have a red LED indicator. I don't know if you can see that clearly on the camera. It is charging. So if you want to do some precision driving, then you can attach these tips and do this easily. I do a lot of PC building as well, so this screwdriver will definitely come in handy so that I can get into tight spaces, and rather than turning the whole hand and get the screw open. And I really appreciate the magnetized tip. That way the screw doesn't fall and go anywhere. And I suppose I could keep some of the screws in here too, so that the screws don't spread out and get lost. And this is definitely going to come in handy. Let's give it a shot with a small electronic. So I said a small electronic, but I meant like a laptop. And I believe T4 is a right torque screw for these. It does seem to turn, so I just have to get it there. So there's that screw. Again, I could have probably done that with this screwdriver because they share the same tip, as you can see. So I could have done that. But that is a lot more inconvenient than just relying on these electronic screwdriver. And they can turn a lot faster than I could. And you can always final hand tighten this by just turning it yourself without using the motor or the electric bit. Yeah, I guess you can always do that instead of relying on a hand screwdriver to make sure I don't over torque it. So quite nice. So next one up is over here. Again, a simple photo without much of a description. I really appreciate their design approach. I think the minimalistic, simplistic type of approach is shown. Hoto 3.6 volt screwdriver kit is written on the back, and then the model is QWLSD011. What was the other one? The other one said QWLSD010. So I guess the model names don't really mean a lot. Anyways, that's what the model name is. It does contain a couple of different things. Nonetheless, let's open it. So I expect this one to be a bit more powerful, beefier screwdriver than that one over there. Not a precision kit. I guess heavy duty, if you will. And it does contain this user manual of some kind, written in both Chinese and English. Product overview. I mean, that one had a much smaller bit size. I believe it is like 1/8 or something. And I expect this to be a 1/4 inch. I don't know if they go by imperial versus metric system, but I expect this bit size to be more of what you see for woodworking and tools that you see in the household. So it's plastic, but it kind of opens up like this. And as you can see, this is pretty much what you see on your drill or screwdriver that you have in the household. This is a Phillips head number 2, and the screwdriver itself, or electronic screwdriver, is here. Pull it out. And it has this rubberized feel to it, so it grips pretty well. And again, it's much beefier, but it's got the USB Type-C port for charging. And it does have some charge to it. There is an LED indicator. That's nice to see. And an LED light. If you're in a dark space, it will definitely let you see those things. And there is sort of a level control. There is a 1, 2, 3. That's what I just seen now. 1, 2, 3. So I don't think it changes speed by the sound of it. It may just have a different torque amount that's allowed. And if you were to just attach simple Phillips head number 2, it's enough to push through my finger grip. And in this simplistic package, if you want to have the magnetic tip, you can certainly use this, so that you can simply attach different type of bits included in here. The torque screw is also included. I like to see that. Also, I like these square bits, and I've learned recently that you can use this for some electrical work. Let's demonstrate that. So since my new home purchase, I've been doing some electrical work. You should be proud of me for doing some electrical work. So here is a outlet that I pulled out as I replaced it with a different type of outlet in the home. So let's get a different bit for this. So you can just go ahead and pull it out. And I like these small screwdriver because you can either hand tighten or manually do it, as well as just being able to pull out things a lot more precise and easily. If you have this bit, which is a flathead, you can open up all the face plates of the electricals, but after that, if you were to try and screw these, you have to hold your hand quite steady and make sure your hand doesn't go everywhere. Although it is not that hard to hold these two things steady because you don't have to hand tighten where you will be just jumping all over the place. You are just holding it in place, and that's quite easy. But lately I have been using this square bit instead of the Phillips head, because if you were to use Phillips head also, after quite some time it actually torques out and the screw bit actually pulls out quite a bit. So it is kind of recommended to use these square bits so that it fits snug in there, and then you can tighten it all the way. And that is some torque there. So I don't know I will ever need more than that. And even at torque number 1, I don't think I can endure that much. So in order for you to hook on these wires that are coming off the wall, you just make a proper J-hook. Obviously they wouldn't be just dangling like this, it will be coming off of the wall. And I am not a licensed electrician, so I would definitely advise you to consult with your local professionals. But yeah, the neutral, the white goes to silver, and then you need to make sure that they twirl around the same direction as a screw tightening so that they don't actually come off. And that is tight enough, and that makes the job a lot easier. And then the hot side, or the black, goes to the brass side, which is yellow. And make sure the direction is again correct. So I'm attaching it right there, and then just have that tightly in there, and I can hand turn it and I can get it really tight. And if I were to connect the ground, I can go on here, and again the same direction. There's a little hole that you can basically insert the wire into. You can just insert into this hole and then twirl it around so that it is a secure wrap around the ground screw there, and just drive that in. And very tight in there. So all you need to do is just jam it into the junction box and then put the face plate on, change the bit to a flathead, hand tighten it, make sure it's somewhat vertical, I would say. Okay, so I've just kind of manually done the last bit, and that is your receptacle or outlet completed. I guess only gripe that I have is perhaps if they were able to charge whilst they are in the case, the device out to connect separately to charge, it's a bit of a hassle. Just make a hole on the side or something so that you can just insert the cable quite easily onto these carrying cases. And also maybe 1 or 2 bit storage. It is quite often that you just can't carry around this large case into the task that you're about to do, but as you saw, I may need to swap out a couple of different screws, or sorry, the bits. I don't want a whole thing to lug around, but perhaps one more flathead just so that I have that handy. Yeah, that would have been useful. But nonetheless, it does have a built-in LED light too, which will definitely come in handy. So those are some minor gripes for Hoto to worry about. I'm really liking these products. So thank you, Hoto, for sending me these 2 devices and making some of tools that have lived in my toolbox for quite some time. And thank you guys for watching this video. If you have liked this content, please like it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.